Okay, so the first thing we will look at is salaries and wages. Pretty straightforward, salaries and wages. A salary would be a yearly income. It doesn't change, even if you work more, you work less, it doesn't make a difference. It's a yearly income. It's how much you will get paid every single week, for example, in this case. And there's obviously 52 weeks in a year. These ones are easy. I'm just going to fly by these. Annual salary is 43K. How much you get paid each week, you're just going to divide. What is the fortnightly pay? You're just going to divide by 26. Per week, what is her annual salary? You're going to multiply by 52. How much do you make per month? You'll divide by 12. Mladen? I thought I said Madeline at first, but I'm like, no, it doesn't. Mladen. Mladen works 200 hours each month. How much does she receive per hour? Or whatever this rate was, you're just going to divide that answer by 200, and that's how much you get paid per hour. Are we okay with this one here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last year, the chief executive of a bank made 7 million. How much is this per week? You can, again, you'll know, just divide by 52. A newspaper headline read, bank boss paid 21,000 a day. Is this correct? Well, just divided by 365, this one here, and you'll know if it's 21,000 a day. It sounds about right, I think. Anyways, you'll check it out. Daniel receives 3,000 per month. Find his annual salary. How do I do that? Times it by 12. And then weekly pay.
By 7. I mean, not by 7, sorry.
Divide. No, not by 7. That would be daily. If you had weekly and you want to divide it by 7, that would be daily. But you wouldn't really say there's 7 days in a week. You're more going to say there's 5 days in a week because 5 days will be working weeks, right? But anyways, yeah. No, it's not 7. Anybody else can tell me weekly pay?
Just take A and divide it by 365.
Not 365 weekly.
52, sorry.
A divided by 52. I was just hoping no one would have said, let's do 3,240 divided by 4, right? There aren't 4 weeks in a month. That's all you've got to remember. This is wrong. There aren't 4 weeks in a month. If you want to ever use weeks in a month, if you want to know the magic number, it's 4.3333 forever. So 4 1/3. There are 4 1/3 weeks in 1 month. Okay? So whoever has always told you 4 weeks in a month, it's wrong. It's 4 1/3. So if you had divided this by 4, you would have got your wrong answer. But yeah, A divided by 52, or you could have done what I just said, 3240 divided by 4 1/3. And that will give you the same answer as this one. Okay, all good? Yeah, any questions here? No problems?
No.
Wages. Wages, depends on how many hours you work. You get paid for that each week. You might work more, you get paid more. You work less, you get paid less. And that's how wages works compared to salary. But anyways, very straightforward. 40 hours you work, $12.50. How much you make per week? I think you know, just multiply it. Find his hourly rate. He's going to go $7.56. Dahlia, can you see how I'm not even reading the question?
Yeah, you're just...
Like, you kind of know, I'm just reading the ending. I get it. It's saying hourly rate. I'm like, all right, weekly wage is this, 35 hours. I don't really care who the person was. I don't care if they were working or not. I understand the context of it. I'm just really doing it. And that's probably the best way around most of these questions. A painter works 38 hours. This total weekly wage, well, 38 hours. Your hourly rate is this, just times it. Let's go maybe something down here and see what's happening. Yusuf is paid 160 bucks for working 7.5 hours. What will he be paid for working 5 hours at the same rate? Well, you're just going to go 163.50 divided by 7.5. That gives you how much he makes per hour. Then, of course, if you want to work You just times it by 5. Yeah, easy. That's nothing. All right, overtime. Overtime, if we ever say time and a half, it means times the rate by 1.5. So how much you get paid is 24.70 times 1.5. All good with that one?
Yeah.
So that becomes what, 30, just so you guys know, 37 and 5 cents. And then if I said I work for 2 hours at time and a half, you're just going to times it by 2. Double time, just times it by 2. Double time and a half, 2.5, whatever. Kelly's normal rate is 16. What will she earn? 5 hours at time and a half. So it works like this: 5 times 1680 at an hour and a half rate. 3 hours at double time and a half. 2.5 times her normal rate. All good? Am I going too fast or we're okay?
All good.
We're good.
Very good.
Let's have a look at this Ronnie. Ronnie is an electrician and he gets paid $1,200 for 40 hours. In 1 week, she works 12 hours overtime, of which 8 hours is at a time and a half and 4 hours is at a double time. What are her earnings that week? Ronnie is an electrician, gets paid $1,200 for 40 hours, but she also works 12 hours overtime. So she's going to get paid $1,200 for her 40 hours plus, oh, we don't know the rate. Can you see how I'm stuck now? I don't know what the rate is. So what I'm going to do is go 1,200 divided by 40. Now I know what the rate is. It's $30 per hour. Once I know it's $30 per hour, so she got paid 1,200 plus she worked 8 hours at time and a half at this rate, plus she also worked 4 hours at 2 times the amount of $30 per hour. And then plug all that into your calculator and you should get an answer. Again, Dahlia, I'm going to point at you because you're the one that's saying that these are a little bit confusing. Can you see how I broke that up? Was that simple?
Yeah.
Did you see even how I started and then I was like, oh crap, I'm stuck, and then I can fix up where I'm stuck. You don't need to realize you're stuck from the beginning, and that's okay. Like you can actually start and then realize, like, I'm now stuck, and then just go up and fix it up. Okay. Move. Penalty rates and special allowances. If you work on construction sites or in the hospitality business or industry or some real estate like industry and whatnot, you get special allowances. The allowance is like in case you have to travel, because if you're in the construction business, you might have to travel. Let's just say 1 week or 2 weeks or a month will be in Wollongong, and then after that would be Eastern Sydney, and then after that would be Western Sydney, and so on. So there's allowances. There might be food allowances because you might be working for a longer period of time, so you might have to wake up at 7 a.m. and work to 5 p.m., whatever the idea is. So there's all these rates and allowances. They make a lot of sense. So let's see how this works. Thomas works on a construction site and he's paid a special allowance of $6.20 per hour. So an extra $6.20 per hour. Extra. Let's just make this clear. Okay. Find his total weekly wage, given that his basic wage is $28.70 per 40-hour week. Well, of course, he'll get paid $28.70 plus $6.20 for every hour. Any questions with that? I mean, you could have broken it up, but that's how I would do it. You're just going to get that as an extra bonus. Don't worry about all of this. Who cares? Just special allowance, $6.20 per hour, and then find the total. All right. Let's move to number 3, and then we'll do number 5. Adrian gets $875.80 per week as a result of indexation decision. Do we know what index means when we talk about indexing? No? Okay. Indexing is a way, like for example, have you girls heard of inflation? Okay.
No.
All right. So for example, you might have this is important. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is got nothing to do much with our math, but it is important about your real life applications. You gotta know this. So imagine you got paid $1,000 today.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we're in 2020, so now imagine it comes to 2025. Should you still be getting paid $1,000? Probably not. What should happen? You would assume that like petrol prices are going up, house prices will be going up. I don't know, cost of living goes up, tomatoes go up, whatever, right? Whatever the situation is, it keeps increasing. So your $1,000 today, it's not the same $1,000 in 5 years' time. It should be worth a little bit more. And let's just call that $1,000.10. So it grew a little bit. And that is called inflation. It inflated up. Now, the index is the actual rate. So like this is called the index. So 4.5% is the rate that it gets inflated by. It's got a fancy name, and it's called an index.
Mm-hmm.
That it gets inflated by. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just an increase. It allows for, like, for example, it allows for you to know, okay, so if the cost of living and everything has gone up by, let's just say by 1%, then realistically my income should have also increased by at least 1%. And that's when you might sometimes hear, like in the news, they go, house prices have gone up, by, let's say, by 50%, but wages have only gone up by 5%. Well, if wages have only gone up by 5%, that means there's going to be a lot of people that can't actually afford these houses because their wages are not going to cover the amount these house prices have increased. So technically, these wages needed to increase by 50%, which will never happen, but wages needed to increase by 50% to at least make it affordable again. And that's when the economy crashes, like we are in right now. Adrian gets $875.80 per week. Anyways, as a result, his award rate of pay is increased by 4.5%. Find his new weekly wage. You could do this times 4.5%, and then obviously you get an answer. $39.41, and then just add it on top. So 875.80 plus 39.41. It will become 915.21. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody having problems with that question there? Okay. The way I would like it done, whenever you're trying to work out the new price or new wage, and there's an increase in percentages, we'll be doing it soon, but I don't like to do this plussing and then blah 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 business. It works well when you are multiplying, but when you're trying to go backwards, you won't be able to get your answer out. So try to learn, if it's an increase by 4.5%, you just multiply by 100 plus the percentage. So it'll be 104.5%. If you plug that into your calculator, the answer will straight away just say 915.21. To increase, you just add 100. If it's a decrease, you subtract 100. But we'll be doing it shortly. Okay. I think these are all easy. You made this much. How much is in normal wage? You just divide it. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's keep going. All right, annual leave loading. Okay, school. The school's way is going to be this. 17.5% of 4 weeks' wage. Does that ring a bell from last year?
Yeah.
School way, 17.5% 4 weeks' wage. For holiday loading. And then holiday pay, you just add the loading to your pay. Now, Sam's way. There's always got to be a Sam's way. Sam's way. This is too complicated. The way you can do your holiday loading is just 0.7 times wage, and then holiday pay is just 4.7 times wage. Again, this works really well when you're trying to go backwards. That's why I created this. A lot of students were getting them right going forward. When you had to go backwards, you had to find the wage. They were stuck. So 0.7 and 4.7. Okay, I'm gonna see how this works. Yeah. These are all broken up. Here's a question that's not broken up. Maddie works for the Department of Social Security on an annual salary of $68,000. If she receives 17.5%, blah blah blah, calculate her total holiday pay. Right. So holiday pay, we know from my formula, is just 4.7 times W times her weekly wage. Now, what's her weekly wage?
You have to divide it
By?
by 52.
Done. That's it. Something that was super complicated before. If we can follow this formula, it'll make your math super easy. 1314. So it's just 4.7 times 1314. If the question said don't find holiday pay, but it just said find holiday loading, your answer would be 0.7 times 1314, just so you know. Holiday pay, 4.7, holiday loading, 0.7.
Yep.
Girls, all good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a cool little formula. It'll save you a whole lot of time. Of course, if the question says what will William receive for 4 weeks, you have to actually go in, $19 per hour, 5 hours a week, times it by 4. But here, what will his holiday pay be? You can just do holiday pay is 4.7 times 1 week, 1 week's wage. And 1 week's wage is just $19.40 per hour for 35 hours a week. So you can ignore the 4 weeks. Otherwise, what you would have to do it the traditional way, you would have to find the holiday loading and then plus holiday loading plus 4 weeks wage. So, and holiday loading is 17.5% of 4 weeks, and it just gets very complicated. So try to avoid that if you can, and just do things that way. Okay. Commission. Commission is just a bonus that you get for sales, usually. So Yasmin receives a commission of 5% on sales. How much commission will she receive in a week if she sells 11,000? Her commission is 11,000 times 5%. Yeah. There are industries where they don't just do commission only. They do what we call it a retainer, which is just a basic wage plus commission. So that means at least if you didn't sell anything in that day, in that week or whatever it is, you'll still get paid for the week. And then there are some other industries, no, it doesn't matter how many hours you're working, it's all commission based. So the more you sell, the more money you make. So David is a car sales representative and is paid a retainer. Add that word to your list of words that you need to know, retainer, of $350 per week. And a commission of 3% on all the sales made. Find his weekly income if he sells a car of value $45,000. I'll just do that one. So he'll make $350 guaranteed, plus he'll make 3% of selling the car for $45,000. Okay, all good?
Mm-hmm.
Now, most industries work like this one here, and this is the one you'll probably get in your exam out of all of these ones. The reason why it works like this is because we call it a staggered commission rate. So the more you make, the more you sell the property, the smaller the percentage because the amount's a lot higher. So let's have a read of this and see if you guys can understand this. Joshua is a real estate agent and receives 2% commission. 2% commission on the first 200,000, 1.5% on the next 100,000. So 2% at 0 to 200K. 1.5% on the next 100. What does that mean? 1.5% at
It's from 200, 300.
201 all the way to what? 300, yeah?
Mhm.
Do we all get that? How I got 300,000 on the next 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 1.25%, 1.25 on the next 100. Again, that would be like what, 301, whatever, to 400,000 on the next 100. And then 1% on the value thereafter. So then 1%, anything greater than 400K. Find his commission for selling a property of 650,000. Okay. Can anyone tell me what they think the answer is straight away? Good. Okay. So what? Is this the answer? Is it 1% greater than 400K? Is it 1% times 650,000?
No.
No. Yeah, it's not like that. You get 2% first 200K. So 650,000 works like this. 650K. All right, here we go. We're going to minus 200K, which means you're left with 450. We're going to have our little tally here. Anyways, so you get 2% times 200,000. You got commission for that. Plus, you get 1.5% on the next 100,000, right? So on the next 100, so minus another 100,000 here. We're at 350 times 100K. Plus, you get a 1.25% on the next 100,000 as well. Minus another 100, so we're left with 250,000. Plus, you're left with 1%. Anything after that, which would be greater than, times by 250K. So how much do you actually get paid? You get paid 2% times 200 plus 1.5. Anyone? Any questions while I'm here?
No, that makes sense.
$1,000. You got paid altogether when you add $8,750 for selling a house worth 650,000. Not bad. The reason why I say not bad, see, if you take it to this industry here, if you think of this industry, you actually are trying to sell it to the customer, right? Like you're really forced to, when someone comes to you, to sell them the car. You know, it's not a very, like, it's not an impulse buy, but you're forced to make it an impulse buy. That's the strategies in this industry. Whereas in this industry, it's almost as if the place sells itself. Like you don't really, you're not going to go and say, oh, hey, this is the top of the line Aldi or whatever like that. Like this is very different to the other house. I mean, people can tell straight away if this is a house they want to live in, if this is a house they don't want to live in. Do they like the finishes? Do they not like the finishes? So the house really would sell itself. So for not doing much, other than just being the middleman between the buyer and the seller, you make some really good money in this particular industry. We'll move on. Piecework.
Yeah.
That means for every piece you sell, you make money. So if I sell calculators at $5 each, and I sell like 20, you'll just times it by 20. I think that makes sense as well. So an apricot picker is paid $1.75 for every full bucket she picks. How much will she earn in a day when she picks 78? Seriously, this shouldn't even be year 11 questions. Like, come on. All right, I'm gonna move on. I think that's easy. And what's the other one? Royalties. Royalties is the same way as the bonus commission. So like this one here, it just works for royalties. Works for things that you actually own, like books, copyrighted movies, pictures, stuff like that. All right. So Matthew's paid a royalty of 14% on the sales of his book. Sales for the first 6 months totaled 150,000. How much is the royalty payment? Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
You guys will look at this each yourselves. Let me see if this is anything interesting. Okay, let's just do it. Celeste receives royalties on the sales of her book. She receives 10% of the recommended retail price for the first 5,000 copies and sold, and then 12% on any further copies. So 10% of the first 5,000 copies, and then 12% on anything after that. In the first year, her sales was 12,514. So that means anything after 5K would be 7,514. And she sold, the retail price was $21.95. So $21.95 for this price and $21.95 at this rate. Does that make sense? 21.95 plus 12% times 7,594 times 21.95. If you're interested, she made in the first year from selling 12,000 books herself, she made 30,766.876, which is usually true. The authors themselves, unfortunately, don't make much money. It's the publication companies and the distributors who make a lot of the cash. Okay, we'll continue. Pensions and government allowances. That usually is confusing for students because there's a lot of words there. So I think this one here, we might have to spend a little bit more time on, and we'll see. Natasha earns 68,000 per annum. Her super fund contributions amount to 9.5% of her annual salary. How much are her contributions each fortnight? Well, it will be 68,650 times 9.5%. That tells you how much it is per year. And then you're just going to divide by 26, and that gives you per fortnight. Let's read this. This, I think, is government. Yeah, government analysis. The table lists the maximum fortnightly payments for youth allowance for single people. So you've got to read it like this: your circumstances, and you've got to find which one fits you. So first one, single, no children, younger than 18, and live at parents' home, you'll get paid a maximum of $244. Single, no children, younger than 18, and need to live away from home, you'll get paid about double, $445. Single, no children, 18 years, and live at parents' home, $293. Single, no children, you get it, and single with children, $584. Okay. That makes sense, how to read that table? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hope is a student who is 19 years old, unmarried, has no children, and lives at home. So 19, so single, no children, and 18 years, so I think right there. What is the maximum youth allowance you can receive in 1 year? This is how much you can make per So that's when you've got to go back and read the whole thing. Like Dahlia, for example, you would have to realize that it said fortnightly up there, and I should have, even myself, underlined that. But unless sometimes it's here, but there you go, fortnightly. So 293.60 times 20. Daniel is also a student who is 24 years old and shares an apartment with a mate. He has a part-time job and earns $310 per week. His fortnightly youth allowance is reduced by $43.50 plus 60 cents for every dollar he earns over 524 per fortnight. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the actual, this is the proper one. This is exactly how it works. For most people who do work and still have to get Centrelink help or government help. So let's start again. Daniel is also a student who is 24 years old, so we're looking at these two, and shares an apartment with a mate, which means he is here. He has a part-time job and earns $310 per week. So that means in a fortnight, he earns $620. His fortnightly youth allowance must be reduced by $43.50 plus 60 cents for every dollar he earns over 524. Well, okay. How much has he earned over? He has earned 620 minus 524. He has earned $96 over per fortnight. So let's read that again. His fortnightly youth allowance, so this amount, will be reduced by $43.50 plus 60 cents for every dollar he earns over 524. So the first thing I will do before all this business, I need to work out how much he is over, which is 96 bucks. Once I know that, I'm like, all right, you'll get paid $445.80 minus $43.50 automatically, and 60 cents, so 60% of every dollar he earns over of 96 bucks. Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody, that all makes sense? Okay. So you're allowed to work. They're not saying don't work. It's just that they're going to pay you a little bit less because you're working. There it is. $344.70 per fortnight. Okay. Same situation. Like if you make money, your income is reduced, I think, by 50 cents, it says, for every dollar over. I'll let you try to do that at your own time. Deduction.
So in this situation, it'd be better if you didn't have a job,
Say that
because then you
again.
get paid.
Well,
It'd be better if you didn't have a job.
Well, hold on. Not really. If you didn't have a job, how much do you get paid per fortnight? 445, right? Like if you had to live away from your home, let's say, so $445.80. Now, yes, you had a job, so you're earning less from the government, but don't forget you're going to actually get paid 620 as well for actually. So reality is 620 plus 344. That looks like about 960 bucks. So by you working, you were able to make $960 a fortnight, whereas when you weren't working, you were only making $440 a fortnight.
Yeah.
And plus, especially if you're living away from home, 400 bucks, like your rent might cost you about $200 a week, at least. So most of that money is just going to go to rent.
Yeah.
So you probably need to work. I wouldn't say it's better not to work. Deductions and taxable income. Okay. We're going to start taxation soon. All right. Some more words that you've just got to get your head around. Deductions. deductions, you're allowed to, okay, so let's just go up here for a second. Imagine you earned 80,000 a year. You usually would have to pay tax on that, and I'll just roughly do a calculation. The tax on that would be about, let's just say that number. So tax on that a year is about 18,400. So you have to pay $18,000 to tax, which is a fair bit. Now, what you would want to do, if you can, and you've got the resources, and you know what you're doing, and you're in, and there's, I guess there's deductions. You might have needed certain shoes because you're a builder, or you might need a calculator because you're a teacher. Whatever the situation is, there's deductions. So instead, what you'll do is go and buy, these calculators and shoes and whatever. And let's just say, let's say that throughout the whole year, it costs you $5,000 to buy everything, like maybe a laptop or whatever. So you're allowed to reduce your, what we call gross income, which is this thing, by a deduction. And just be careful, it's a deduction, not an expense. So you're deducting this from your gross income. So technically, the tax will be taxed on now 75,000. And if you're wondering what that would be, roughly again, it looks like you saved yourself about $1,000 there of tax that you didn't have to pay, which means that can go to your car registration or your home loan or whatever the situation is. So it's really important to really have your finances sorted out from the beginning when you're working, especially with your tax, so you're able to deduct everything that you're entitled to, so that you are able to pay the correct amount of tax that you need to pay. So we come up with this one here, this income. This income is called taxable income. So your gross income is not necessarily your taxable income. Just keep that in mind. So Sarah has a gross income of 48,000. Her allowable deductions total 3,000. What is her taxable income? Dahlia, are you keeping up with all these words in this particular question right now?
Yeah.
So these words all make sense right now? Gross income, deductions compared to her taxable income. So gross income minus deductions must equal to taxable income. And that's the income we use in our tax table to work out our actual taxes and stuff. Okay. Sanjeev had a gross income of 51K. He's calculated his taxable income was 49. What was the deductions? Well, obviously that would just be 51,000 minus 49,000. Tells you your deductions for the year. Any questions about this one right now? This is just making you understand the difference in the words of gross, deduction, and taxable income. I think what's more important is knowing how to apply it once it comes up to these questions here. So, like, I'll come to the table in a second. It just says find the amount if the taxable income is this. Well, that means these have already become taxable incomes. So they've already deducted from your gross, which isn't very fun. I was hoping that we got to do it. No, it doesn't look like it. Let me see, have a look at Medicare levy. Already giving you taxable. All right, all of these already they're giving you the taxable income. So that way you don't have to work it out. But in your exam, very likely it would say, the gross income. It would say this. This would be A. This question would be A. Sarah has a gross income of this. What's her taxable income? Then you work it out. Once you work it out, you're going to come and use that taxable income to find the tax payable. So don't get the words mixed up. Here, let's read this now. The following tax table should be used to answer the following questions. All right. If you earn 0 to 18,000, you pay nothing. if you earned 18,000 to 37,000, you'll pay 19 cents for every dollar over 18K, 200. That means if you made 20,000, you have to pay 19% of 20,000 minus 18,200. Every dollar over 18,200. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This one says 37,000 to 90K. You have to automatically pay this much plus an extra 32.5% for every dollar over. So if you earn 50K, you would have to pay 50,000 minus 37,000. So most of my students just think of it as backwards. So you go 50K minus 37,000. That gives you 13,000 times 32.5% plus 3,572. Does that one make sense as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this one here. Imagine you earn 98,000. Where do you fall? You'll fall into this region here. So that means you automatically have to pay 20,000 plus 37 cents for every dollar over 90K. You're over by 90K, 8,331. You get the idea. All right. Again, Vivian's taxable income is 182. That's her income already, taxable, allowed. So that's it. What tax is payable on her income? What actual tax is payable? Well, it's up here. So she falls on the last one. She has to automatically pay 54,097 plus 45 cents for each dollar over 180K. So 45 cents for each dollar over, just be $2,000. And then add it together and make this your answer, which is about, probably looks around $55,000. Cool.
Yeah.
So and this is I think this is the most current tax table, by the way. So if you did earn 180,000, you can straight away tell $50,000 of that is going to tax. It's $1,000. But I mean, you are earning a good amount of money a year, is that? All right, we'll keep going. Start same stuff. Medicare levy, exactly the same as tax. There's a table. If your income was in here, you pay nothing. If your income was in here, you pay 10% for every dollar over. If your income was anything past 27,000, you pay 2% of the entire amount, whatever it was. So this is not staggered. This is just 2% of the entire amount. So if you earn 103,000, it's just 2% of the entire amount. If you were in here, let's do one that you're in here, which would be this guy. You just pay 10% for everything that's over 21,980. So you'll have to first work out how much you're over. And then just times that number by 10%. And if you made 18,000, you pay 0. Okay, obviously it says income tax payable. Excuse me. Income tax payable. To do your income tax payable, you've got to use the income tax table, which would be up here. Okay, that's your income tax table. That's a Medicare levy table. These will obviously be given to you in your exams. Oh, there we go. That's better. This is what we wanted. Part 1 and part 2, right? So let's go. All right. We're going to do question 1. I'll leave question 2 for you. goes. Jill's gross income was 58,000. Her total deductions was 46,000. The tax payable on taxable income is set out below. Find Jill's taxable income. Okay, just the income. That's the key word. So the income is 58,560 minus 4,650. Are we okay with that? Calculate the amount of tax due. So this time you actually want to work out the tax. This was not tax, taxable income. That's the key word. This is the actual tax. So where do I fall? I fall in this region right here. So I have to do 53,000 minus 37,000 16,910. Multiply it by 32.5%. Add 3,572. Let me know if you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Karina, are you actually in now? Is Karina in there? I just saw her message. She's like, I'm in. Oh, Christian's here now. That's cool. Hi, Christian.
Ew.
You keeping up? When did you come in? Are you keeping up with all the work?
No, I came in what, 3:40 around there.
Okay. Yeah. So everything's been fine so far.
Yeah. All this is good.
All right. C. Find the amount of the Medicare levy using the table on the previous page if Jill is single without any Medicare exemptions. So she's single, she earned 58,000. Sorry, there it is. Her taxable income is 53,910. Let's see where she falls. She would be in this region right here. She has to pay 2% of the entire amount. So what's her Medicare levy? 2% of taxable income. Any questions yet? Let me work out the answer up here. The tax here was $9,067.75, and here was $1,000.78. Okay. All right, D. Now, does anyone know how the tax system works in Australia? Like, they're not going to just. So what happens? You don't just get paid, let's say 53,000, and then at the end of the year you've got to pay back 9,000 and 1,000, like $10,000. Does anyone know how it actually works when you get paid?
It takes it as you go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Exactly what it's called. It's called PayG, pay as you go. Or now they're calling it, I think, PayWG, pay as you working can go. I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's called PayWG or something like that. Anyways, pay as you go. So you do have to pay as you go. The reason why, so you don't all of a sudden at the end of the year you have to pay back $10,000. It feels like a lot, but if you're paying it every week, you don't ever feel the $10,000 you're paying in a year. So the idea is if you paid more, then you'll get a refund. If you paid less, then you'll have to just pay more, and that's fine. If she pays $410 per fortnight in tax, so $410 in tax, right? How much refund should she receive for the year? Well, how much tax has she paid? So tax paid equals 410 times 26. Tax, total tax that needed to be paid equals 9,067. So your normal taxable income plus the Medicare tax. You only needed to pay 10,100, so you're going to get a refund of 10,660 minus. So you get a refund of about $514.05.
No.
Anybody? You sure? Okay. Same thing. Let's just do part 2. It needs to be a little bit harder. Less helping. There we go. All right. We're going to do it ourselves. So let's see. Rose received a total income of $53,000 from her job last financial year. She paid a total of $11,000 in tax installments. So in tax, that's the key word you want to know. In addition to her job, Rose earned income of $12,000 from other sources. So maybe another job, or from investments or stocks, or anything else. Her total allowable deductions from income amounted to $6,000, including the 2%. How much tax will Rose need to pay? All right. So, Dahlia, let's do this one together. Rose received a total income of $53,000, right? She paid tax of $11,000, but she earned, so let's do one thing at a time. I mean, the first thing we would like to work out is what is her taxable income. All right, so go, tell me, what do you think her taxable income? What am I going to write?
So we'd have to 53,810.
Yep, plus.
And would you plus the 11,000?
No. Do you know what that is? So I try to highlight it here.
I need to find the deductions there.
Yeah, yeah. But wait, plus. I'm saying plus. I didn't say minus yet.
Would be the 12,000?
Yeah, that makes more sense. You may earn more income of 12,000, so you've got to add that on top. Then minus what now? Her deductions.
6,390.
Yeah, just because 11,000 was there, you can't just go, oh yeah, plus 11,000. You're going to understand what its context is. That's just tax. That's how much you've been paid. That's how much you've paid, sorry. Last year as well. Anyway, so 6,390 gone. Okay. What's her taxable income? Her taxable income is 53,810 plus 12,870 minus 6,390 becomes 60,290. Then what do we do usually from there? Once you know taxable income, we have to go up, find that tax table. There it is. 60,000, that means you're in here. So 3,572 plus 32.5 cents for every dollar over 37K.
Yeah.
So first thing we do is, how much am I over? We do 60,290 minus 37,000. Then you'll times that by 32.5% and add 3,572. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And then you get an answer for that. When you work out this answer, what did you just find?
That I got
I'm saying, not the number. I'm saying, like, what did you actually find? So, like, this is what? What would you call this? This number. What did you just find? You remember? No?
tax income.
Not the tax income, just the tax. The
Okay.
tax payable, if you want to even say that, but it's called tax. Income is up here. And that's what your mistake is. You're I guess you're convoluting the words and you're trying to use it anyway. But you've got to understand, like, taxable income, that would be that. Tax payable would be this. Plus your Medicare levy. Plus Medicare levy. Medicare levy is 2% of 60K. Therefore, what's your total tax? 120580 plus 11141.25. Your total tax is 12347 and 5 cents.
Mm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Now, what's the only number that I haven't crossed out?
The 11,000.
Right. And then the question says, how much more tax will she need to pay? Well, she needs to pay 12,000, but she's only paid 11,000. So more tax will be what? 12,347 minus 11,400. Do you fully get everything we just did there?
Yeah.
You see how I broke it down slowly? I'm like, all right, what's the first thing I need to find? Usually it's taxable income. All right, what's the income? And I did that. I stopped. Then I went, okay, usually it was tax. After tax, it was Medicare levy. After Medicare levy, we worked out the total tax. And then usually when we work out the total tax, we try to see if there's a refund. Or in this case, you have to pay a bit more because you've underpaid. And then that's when you would use this tax installments. All right. Chapter 1 done. Should we do another one of those? Or do we feel like eventually, I think once you girls and Christian, I think once you've worked through all this, should be okay. I don't see it being too problematic. The other questions are all broken down, A, B, and C. Obviously, the reason why I picked this is because I want you to get to this level. You've got to be able to know what A is, what B is, and what C would be, which is the tax. So A, usually income. B is usually the tax, including Medicare levy. Part C is work out the total tax refund, or if you've got to pay more. All right. Then let's start up here. Interest rates. Chapter 2. An interest rate of 6% is what rate monthly? I think you know. Divide that by 12. Quarterly, divide by 4. 6 monthly, divide by what? It's a half a year, so you're just going to divide that by 2. 4 monthly, divide that by what? How many 4 months are there in a year? 3. And that's what you're asking yourself. So you divide that one by 3. Find the monthly interest rate, or you just divide. Quarterly, you just divide. Find the number of months in 5 years. You're just going to go 12 months in 5 years. How many quarters in 3 years? Quarters is 4. 4 times 3. How many 6-month periods in 8 years? How many 6-month periods are there in 1 year? We said 2 times it by 8. How many 4 months? We said 3 in a year. So it'll be 6 in 2 years. It's easy. I equals PRN. Do we remember that from last year? For simple interest?
Yeah.
I is interest. P stands for your principal. R stands for your rate per annum. 4. 2 years. I'll do one more and then I'll make you guys do a few of these, so you'll need your calculator soon. This one here, interest equals 5,900. It says 12% per annum, but it's only for 6 months. So what do I do with the 12% per annum? I divide it by 12. I made this into per month, then times it by 6. That becomes 6 months. Do we get that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please do E. Hold on, do E. Okay, just E. Then I'm going to be a calculator. Let me see. Or do the working out. See if we can all get the same answer. Okay. I got $384.30, 300.375. Did anyone also get that?
Yeah, I got that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, so pretty much all we've done. 2,500 times 7.5% over 12 per month times by 3 months.
Mhm.
That's it. Okay. Okay, can we do question 2, please? Without me saying anything, let me just see what you guys get for A and B.
Okay, I'm done.
Done? Both of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. What's your answer for interest only?
I got $600.
$600. Yep.
And
And
then B is 3,600.
everyone's good with that? Does anyone want me to do it? Find the length of time for $500 to be, okay, the rate, okay, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so before, I don't want to do it, again, I'm going to try to see if you guys can do it. I'm going to relate it back to what we were doing, I think it was just last week. Or no, you did it with Daniel, I think, the week before. I equals PRN. If you're trying to make N the subject, what must you do with P and R? So
Divide.
you're going to divide it, right? These are multiplied, so technically it will look like this. I mean, you don't have to think of it like that, the formula, because this is the way I would see it. I mean, let's just say interest was $1,000 and principal was $3,000 and rate was 2% times n. I would work out what this number is, and then whatever that number, I'll go 1,000 divided by that. So it's just easy to see it with numbers, but that's pretty much what you're doing. You're just dividing. So find the length of time for $500 to be the interest on 1,800. So it'll look like this. I'll start you off and go and work out what n is here and work out what n is here, please. Okay, we have an answer yet?
Almost.
Christian, what about you? Do you have an answer yet?
Okay, yeah, I'm done.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Bianca's done. With both of them, right, Bianca?
Yeah. I left it as a decimal and then I pressed the bubble button as well just to get both answers.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Yeah, it's a weird number, isn't it?
yeah.
But that bubble, I don't know if it's going to be useful for us in this context.
Yeah, because it's hours and
Yeah, these will be
years.
hours more that you'll use the bubble button, but for years, like you're not going to be able to say 4 years and 37 months. Like it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you don't want to use the bubble button. You only want to use decimals for here.
Okay, so 4.6296.
Yeah, so you'll usually round to like one decimal place. It's fine. 4.6
Yeah.
and then this one here. What did you get?
4.4 years, sorry. It's rounded.
Dahlia, Cara, Lisa, all good with it? Christian,
Yeah.
you agree? No problems?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, done. Then let's do the exact same, but this time you're going to find R. Well, of course, if you're trying to find R, you're going to divide by P and you're going to divide by N. The only difference is, I guess you are trying to find a rate. So when you do divide, don't forget a rate is a percentage. So you got to times by 100 at the end, but you'll see it because your answer, let's just say, becomes that. You'll know that's not 0.05%. You got to times it by 100, which will become 5%. So that's the only thing you've got to do with R here. So find R. Again, it's going to look like this. 1,500 equals 5,400 times 5 times R. I'll just like to write them at the end. Divide, don't forget you got to times by 100.
Okay, done for both of them.
What's your answer?
For the first one, I got 5.5%, and then the second one, I got 16.6.
All right, we'll wait for others to confirm if they agree with you. If they disagree.
Because they're both like the first one's 5.5 repeater. So would you round it to 5.6?
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other one would be 16.7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's worth a mark. So you got to be careful. Christian, you agree? You said.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, we're all good.
All good? All right, done. Simple interest graphs. Carmen invested 2,000. Okay, look. Not too hard as long as you know how to invest. How to substitute it into this table, and then we should be able to get our graphs from this. So let's have a look at these questions. We'll just do question 1. Carmen invested 2K at 4% per annum simple interest. Simplify the simple interest formula by substituting values for the principal and the interest. Okay, well, I equals principal of 2,000 times rate of 4% times n. And I equals 2,000 times 4% is 80. So I equals 80n. Any questions about what I've done there? Again, I'm just going to emphasize something. A lot of words, simplify, substituting, and blah, blah. Like, who cares? You know what you've got to do. You got I equals PRN. You're just going to substitute it in. You're going to have I missing, and you're going to have n missing. And that's why you have this table here where you have n and I. If n is 0, you're going to sub it into here. 80 times 0 is 80. If n is 1, you'll do 80 times 1. 2, 80 times 2. Okay, and then of course, plot the point and join with the line. N is 0, n is this way, and then I. So 0, 0, 1 and 80, 1 and 80, 2 and 160. I don't need it. I'm not even going to continue. I think you guys get it. Just draw a straight line. And 5 is at 400. So, cool. And it's what you've just learnt there is simple interest is always going to be straight lines. It's important because you'll need that for some of your HSC questions where they'll actually give you a straight line and a curved line, and it'll tell you like which one's better on and what's happening at each point and so on. So you need to understand simple interest is a straight line. Okay, here's the percentage questions. I think we might do a few of these because this is very, very poorly done. Increasing or decreasing by a percentage. If you're increasing, you add 100. If you're decreasing, you're subtracting from 100. So a bike is originally priced at $12.50. Find the new price if it increases by 15%. I don't want you to go and multiply by 15% and then add it. I actually want you to get used to doing this. $12.50 times 115%. Or what if it decreased by 10%? You're going to do $12.50 times by 100 take away 10, 90%. Bianca, do you get that?
Yeah.
Kara, do you understand what I've done there as well?
Yeah.
Have you done this plusing 100 and minusing 100 before at school?
Might have done it last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah. It's just a better way of doing it instead of this. The problem is eventually we're going to be given new prices, right? I might say a new price of a shirt is, let's say, $30, and that was an increase of 15%. Find the original price, and if you don't do it this way with 115%, you're never going to get the answer out, ever. So I like to emphasize this because at least it works even if the question changes and we've got to do a reverse, which is generally the case. So if you're increasing, add 100, decreasing, subtract from 100. Okay. All right. All right. Do question 2 for me, please. Do question 2, do question 3. That's it. Do question 2 and do question 3. What is the new price on the following heater with original? Yeah, do question 2 and question 3. Yep. Is anyone stuck? No? Okay. I might do the first. Maybe Clara, can you tell me your answer for the first one?
So I'm pretty sure I did this right. I did 87,620 times 1.03.
1 point.
And
Yeah. You could have done
I got
0.03 or 103%. Like either or, doesn't matter. I personally do this, less room for error, but you can do 1.03 if you can realize that. Cool.
I got 90,248.6.
Thank you. What about this one since you're here actually? A pay cut of 4%. If there was a pay cut, you've got to multiply it by
So
either
that one would be
0.96
96.
or 96%. Wait.
Yeah, it's 0.96.
Oh, okay, perfect. And then the answer you would get is 84,115.
Yeah.
Great work. Christian, have you done question 3 yet? Christian?
I don't think he's in the call anymore.
Oh,
No.
yeah, he left. He probably knew I was going to ask him. Let's give him a call. Is he- All right. Alyssa, have you done question 3 yet?
I don't get it.
Which bit?
Like, the question 2B, like, where did like 9.6 come from?
Where did you get 96 from?
Yeah,
So if it's a pay cut, that's a decrease. And
yeah.
if you're decreasing, what did I say you're going to do? You're going to subtract 100 from it. So from 4, so it's going to be 100. Take away 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was getting confused between rising and there. Okay.
Yeah. And this rising would be increasing by 3%, so 103%. So in this case, let's do question 3 together then. An electrical store is having a 25% discount. Already, what are you thinking? 100 plus or minus?
Minus.
Minus 25. So technically we're going to use 75%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the new price on the heater of the original price? 120. So it's just 120 times.
75. Okay.
See how quick you can do it now? That's the idea. Beautiful. Try question 4 when you can. It's a pay rise. And then we'll do question 5 together. So just do question 4. Let me know if that's done. And then we'll do question 5 together.
Okay, done.
Done?
Yeah.
What was your answer for this one? And we'll see what it goes.
I did 78,960 times 102.3%.
Yep.
And then I got 80,776 and 8 cents.
Girls, can you confirm?
Yeah.
You also got that, yeah? Alyssa, all good with this? This makes sense?
Yeah.
Cool, all right. Let's do this one. What you've got to keep in mind, if you do increase something by 10% and then decrease it by 10%, don't think it comes back to the original price. So I think there's a... Okay, but let's look at question 6. The original price of a computer is $900. The price is then discounted by 10% on Saturday and a further 10% on Tuesday. Rachel says that this means that the price has been discounted by 20%. Do you agree with Rachel?
No.
No.
She's definitely wrong.
No.
Because 20% of 900 is a lot better than 10% on one day, then you discount it, and I'll show it to you why now. Ready? Hold on. Not 20%. All right. 20% discount means 80% of
Yeah.
900. So the amount would be,
720.
yep, yeah, of course, $720, right? So she saved about 180 bucks. This one would be like this. So on Saturday, it would be 900 times 90%,
So 810, and then again.
and then again. And then on
Yeah.
Tuesday, times by 90% again. And what should happen is you get 729. So this one's more expensive, obviously.
Yeah.
So be careful. 10% on Saturday, 10% on Tuesday does not mean 10%, 20% altogether. And that's what I was trying to say. If it's increased by 10 and then decreased by 10, it doesn't mean you're back to the original. You just got to do it. So a diamond ring originally priced at $840, increased by 10%. There it is. Whatever that answer is, you're just going to times it again by a decrease of 15%, 85%. You could actually do this all in one line because it's all multiplied. It'll actually work out. All good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Done. Beautiful. Profit and loss. Easy. Should be easy. GS3. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, right. Question 2. Gracie bought 100 shares of AJ Hi-Fi at $24 each and later sold them for $21.50 each. Obviously, did she make a profit or loss straight away?
She.
She bought 100 shares at 24 each, later sold them for 21.50 each.
You made a loss.
She made a loss,
Yeah.
right? She bought them
Yeah.
for 24, she sold them for 21. You straight away made a loss. What was the total loss of her shares? Well, I think the best way to do it is she bought it for $100 at 24 each. So it cost her 2,400, and then she sold them for 21.50 each. 2,150. So she made a loss of about $250.
Yeah.
What was the percentage loss per share? So that the way we read this is loss per share, and then one as a percentage. Corrected 2 decimal places. When I say percentage, I mean like, maybe I should have emphasized that, times by 100, because we want as a percent. So 250 divided by 1,000 times 100. She made a 25% loss. Huge.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions before I continue?
That doesn't seem good.
No.
That doesn't sound right. 250. Oh,
25% quarter.
it's 100 shares. Sorry. I did 1,000. 250 over 100 shares. So let's do it again. 250, 100 times 100. She made a 250% loss. That's better. If that confuses you even more now. Look, just so you know something, if you, I don't know, how do I say this? If you, wait, it says corrected 2 decimal places. Am I doing something completely wrong? Let me just say that.
I think the way to
What was the percentage loss per share? Percentage loss. So loss per share. 250. Loss per share. Per share, you lost. Well, we know that you've lost $2.50 per share. $2.50 per share. What was the percentage loss per share? Yeah, 250%. No, it's right. But it's weird that it says 2 decimal places.
Yeah.
That's just like 250.00%, which is weird. So you've lost, I think you guys get what I just said there. You've lost $2.50 per share because every time $24 each, $21.50 each, you're losing $2.50 per share. And already you've got 100 shares, so you just times that by 100. That's another way you could do it, and it still gives you 250%. Doesn't matter, just weird logic there. But look, the 250% makes sense to me because I understand shares and stock markets, but it's true. Okay. Hepsi buys items at garage sales and then sells them at a Sunday market stall. She makes a profit of 35% on all products she sells. Find Hepsi's selling price on these items at a cost. Yeah. So she makes a profit of 35%. Find her selling price. If the cost price is $40, well, that's the same as our increasing one. So she makes an increase of 35%. So 40 times 135% is the selling price. Do we understand what I've done there? 54 bucks.
Yeah.
It cost her 40 bucks. She's selling it for $54. And she just made 35%. Game console, she bought it for 120. She wants to make 35%. You just do 120 times 135%. She needs to sell it for $162. Okay. Same thing. 4 years ago was my son insurance. That's easy. But why not? Let's do question 6. Listen, folks. Please try question 6 for me. Any questions for me? For question 6 yet? I'm still doing it?
Still doing it.
Don't be too hard. Makes a loss of 30%. So what number are you using?
I times by 70%.
Yeah, and that's it.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy. 450, 30,450. Okay. Okay. Have a read of 7. I don't want to walk you through it. I just want to see if you girls are able to break it all down yourself. So try question 7.
what?
Jackson.
Yeah.
Anybody have an answer for A?
Yeah, I got 25.
25? Anybody got a different answer to 25%? Anyone not know how to got 25? Cool. And B? Dali, you have an answer for B yet?
And 20 cents.
Say that again.
$31.20.
Yeah. Easy. 24 plus $7.20 profit must give you $31 and 20 cents. $31.20. Okay. Onward. In Australia, GST 515. Freight line depreciation. Then we'll have compound. I think we can finish this. Let's see how we go. Do you guys want to continue next week? If I ask your parents if we're going to continue, it doesn't have to be at this time. I mean, it can be really a lot earlier if you want it to be. But are you happy to continue over the holidays? Or do you want a break?
Yeah.
Up to you,
Well,
really.
I'm just going to be doing likes and stuff in the holidays,
Say that again.
just so I can put everything up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be notes.
I'll ask your parents, and then I guess you guys can talk about it with your parents and see if you want to continue. We can continue next week. If not, then today will be our last lesson for this term. So GST. Let's see how we're going with this one. GST. GST is a increase, and it's an increase of 10%, unless stated otherwise. But in Australia, our GST at the moment is 10%. It's possible, given the current situation, that by next year, this GST will change, but they're looking into that. So that's all I can say at this point in time. For you anyways, it won't be impacted, it'll still be 10%. In Australia, the GST is a tax that is equal to 10% of the purchase price of an item. So calculate just the GST on each of the following items. If you just want to work out GST, it's 150 times 10%. You know, $90.80 times 10%. Cool. This case, it does say Jeff has a jumper for $230, including GST. Calculate the pre-GST price. And that's when you would get stuck, because a lot of students go, oh yeah, if I want to try to work out what it was before, I can just go $230 and divide it by 10%. Wrong. Oh, do I times it by 10% and then subtract it? Wrong. And it's just everything you're going to try, that'll come to you logically, will be incorrect. The way you've got to do this is that whole increasing thing that we were talking about before. So if it includes GST, that means realistically it's at 110% now. The way you can think about it is this particular formula. Old times percentage equals new, right? That's what we did before. We got the old price, we times it by, let's say, 110%, and we found what the new price is. This is saying that Jeff bought a jumper and it is $230.50. Well, that won't be the old price, that is the new price. We know that it would have increased by 110%. You want to work out what it was before the GST, that is this old price. To be able to do that, your old becomes on 110%. You're going to divide this. Whatever answer that gives is $209.55. All right. So, I mean, this is why I was teaching you girls to try to do things as 110% or 90% or whatever it is if it's a discount, because the way you've got to do if you're going backwards, you've got to divide by this number. And if you haven't taught yourself to be multiplying by this number in the first place, and you've always been just multiplying by 10% and then adding it, you're never going to be able to go backwards. So this is the better one to know. Times in by 110% or times in by 90% if it's a discount, or 80% if it's a discount, whatever. So question 3. An electrician charges $55 for a service call including GST. What is it before GST? Well, it'll just be 55, now that we know, divided by 110%. 55 divided by 110 gets me $50. So before GST, it was $50. Pre-GST. Cool?
Yeah.
Calculate the pre-GST price of a car that costs $36,500 including GST. I think we're getting it now. This one actually asks for the Brunson family goes to a restaurant for dinner. The cost is $265.90, including GST. How much GST was paid? You don't divide by 10. That would be wrong. You got to do it exactly the same way. So you divide by 110%. You work out what it was before the GST, and then obviously what are you going to do after that? So it was $241.73 before GST. After GST, and then to obviously work out the GST, it's just going to be this amount, take away this amount, which is $24.17. Whereas I think you know what most students write, yeah? They go, oh yeah, how much GST was paid? Oh yeah, just times that by 10%. Or,
Yeah.
no, let me divide that by 10% and then take it away. Oh, and then they just do all this mess and it's just all wrong. So very confusing, but this is the way it's going to be done. It's always going to be 110%. If it's an increase, add. Decrease, subtract from 100. Okay. I think I would, instead of starting this, I'll rather do a few more of these styles of questions. So I'm just going to open this up just to emphasize it. It's really important. All right. Remember, old times percent equals new. And then if it's an increase, you add 100. If it's a decrease, we're going to subtract 100 from it. Okay. So if I told you the find, so watch, find new price of, let's just call them shirts, I. The first one's $50, double I, $125. So the idea is if I'm finding a new price of shirts and these are the old price, so all you're going to do, increase by 20%, and then this was a discount of, I don't know, 30%. So what I'll do is $50 times by an increase of 20%, so that means 120%. And then if it was and that would be my new price, whatever that would give, 50 times. Am I going too fast for this one?
No.
Okay. This one decreased by 30%, it will be 125 times, decrease of 30, that means 100 take away 30, which means my new price is $87.50. Cool. So I don't know. Let's just call it. In this case, you went to the shops and it was a 30% discount. Your shirt that you saw was $125, and it's a 30% discount. That means you pay $87.50. In this case, you buy the shirt at $50 and you want to make a profit of 20%. So therefore, you got to sell the shirt for $60, and you just made a profit of 20%. Okay. That all make sense? That's new price.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to find the old price, exactly the same, it's going to start like this, right? I is going to be, it's $60 right now. and it was an increase of 20%. Double A. It is now 87.50 and it was a decrease of 30%. So to find my old price, it's going to work like this. It's going to be $60 divided by an increase, so 120%. If you do that in your calculator, you're going to see the answer becomes the old price, which was $50. And obviously, same thing with this guy. You're going to do 87.50 divided by decrease of 30%, which means divide by 70%. And that's it. And that should get you $125 to work out the old price. So old price, every time you're trying to work out, look at this formula, old equals new divided by percentage. Old equals new over the percent. But the percentage is very important as well. Like if it's an increase, you're dividing it by 120. You don't divide it by 20. Don't divide by 30. So just keep that in mind, I guess, for the rest of your year 11, year 12 career and life. Like, there's no way you're going to see me ever doing 20% if it's an increase of 20. I just go times by 1.2 or 120%. It's because if you ever need to go backwards, you're able to do that with no mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's good. So we've got this 1, 2 exercises here left, which is nothing. And then we've got another whole chapter to do. All right, very good. Very, very good. I'll stop the recording now. I think we're